Breaking news! In the last 24 hours, the Denver Broncos have made some of the boldest and most unexpected moves we've seen this offseason. And trust me, it's not just about trimming the roster. It's about who's actually in the plans for 2025 and who simply didn't shine. Some names we took for granted, gone. Some fan favorites, cut. And now, with the final 53-man roster approaching, tensions behind the scenes are running high. Players are being cut by the minute, the locker room is changing, and the coaches are making it clear. If you're not elite, you're out. You won't want to miss what's coming, because I have all the inside scoop. Why Courtney Jackson was surprisingly released, why Audrey Estime and Deary Mathis never got a chance, and what it all means for the future of this team. But before we get into the full analysis, if you've been bleeding orange and blue since before the last Super Bowl victory, hit like now. And if you're proud to be part of Broncos country through thick and thin, comment, "Go, Broncos! We can make it to the Super Bowl." Now, let me take you inside the Broncos war room, because what's happening is more than just football. It's a total identity shift. The last 24 hours have been absolutely chaotic for Broncos fans as roster cuts rolled in fast and hard. We're talking 22 players cut in a wave of decisions that, while mostly expected, did include a few gut punches. Two names in particular, Audrey Estime and Deary Mathis, stood out as the biggest surprises of this round. Add in the recent news of Courtney Jackson being waived, and things just got a whole lot more intense for this team's final 53-man roster. And yeah, I'm feeling that sting. I thought Courtney Jackson was a lock. The guy could contribute on special teams, which is a massive deal if you're trying to free up Marvin Mims to focus more on the offensive side of things. Jackson had versatility, he had speed, and he had value. But the Broncos clearly saw something different. Jackson was one of the later cuts this morning, but a cut nonetheless. Now let's talk about the overall strategy here. The Broncos have retained 86% of their 2024 roster. That tells you a lot about how confident Sean Payton and the front office are in the core they've already built. If you were hoping to see a flood of new faces, this wasn't the offseason for it. This roster is about precision, not experimentation. Still, there were a handful of players let go that need to be highlighted. Along with Courtney Jackson, we saw names like Xavier Truss, Clay Webb, Andrew Farmer, Garrett Nelson, Michael Dunbar, Josh Pickett, Yank Davis, who a lot of Broncos media insiders spoke highly of, Jawan Newton, Kyers Rowan, Maris Cox, and Sam Franklin Jr. all get the axe. Even Delaren Turner-Yell, who had shown flashes in the past, was among those released. Each of these moves chips away at what the Broncos believe will be their most competitive version heading into the 2025 campaign. But now, let's zero in on those two major cuts, Audrey Estime and Deary Mathis. These are the ones that truly define what this round of decisions was all about. Starting with Audrey Estime, there was real belief, at least outside the locker room, that he could crack the RB3 or RB4 spot. His time at Notre Dame showcased his potential. But the NFL isn't about potential. It's about production. Estime didn't have a bad preseason, but he didn't show anything spectacular either. And in a backfield that's already incredibly competitive, with guys like Tyler Batty and Jaleel McLaughlin making major leaps, there just wasn't room for someone who played just okay. Even Blake Watson, who had his share of fans, showed more explosiveness and versatility. Estime simply got buried on the depth chart. When you're running behind guys like RJ Harvey, who brings blazing speed, or Batty, who keeps showing real growth, you've got to give the coaches a reason to keep you. Estime didn't do that. His window to make an impression came, and it just didn't land the way it needed to. Now Deary Mathis, that one's even more cut and dry. This wasn't about depth chart movement. This was about poor performance. From the jump, Mathis struggled in camp, and it carried over into the preseason. One moment that perfectly captured his issues? A brutal blown coverage against the Cardinals where he bit hard on a play-action fake and got burned over the top by a tight end. Yes, a tight end. That's unacceptable for a corner. And here's the reality. This Broncos cornerback room is looking like no-fly zone 2.0. There's just too much talent. My projected 5 corners, Pat Surtain 2, Damari Mathis, Levi Wallace, Jaquan McMillian, and Riley Moss, make it nearly impossible for underperformers to slip through. And that's not a bad thing. It's a sign that Denver's defense, especially the secondary, is shaping up to be elite. We've said it before, but it's worth repeating. This is one of the hardest rosters to make in the NFL right now, especially on defense. The front office and coaching staff aren't just looking for solid players. They're building a group that can compete at the highest level, and that means the margin for error is razor thin. Mathis didn't rise to the moment, and that made the decision easy, even if it was disappointing. Meanwhile, we did get one positive update amidst all the cuts. Jaleel McLaughlin has officially made the team. No surprise there for those who have been watching closely. His explosiveness and consistency made him one of the safest bets to stick around. And I'll be honest, these cuts are tough. You get attached to players, you root for the underdogs, you start picturing how they might contribute. But this is the NFL. It's about wins. It's about building a team that can survive deep into January and maybe even into February. The Broncos made hard choices. The question is, did they make the right ones? Let's pick up right where we left off, because we're not even close to done unpacking the drama unfolding in Broncos country right now. This isn't just about names on a roster. This is about a franchise laser-focused on returning to championship relevance. Every decision, every cut, every kept player is one piece of the puzzle Sean Payton and George Payton are putting together. And if the goal is the Super Bowl, then this roster construction phase is absolutely mission critical. Now, back to Audrey Estime for just a second. It's easy to say he didn't make it and move on, but let's really put this into context. This was a guy many fans believed had the physical tools to stick around. He had flashes during preseason, sure, but flashes aren't enough. What the coaching staff needed to see was impact. The kind of impact that demands a spot. And that just never materialized. In a room loaded with young talent all fighting for the same few spots, Estime didn't do enough to separate himself. He was dependable, but not dynamic. That's not a winning formula in today's NFL, especially when you've got someone like Jaleel McLaughlin who's not only fast, but fearless, or Tyler Batty showing serious evolution in his game. Sean Payton's system demands versatility and explosion out of the backfield. You're not just running the ball, you're catching out of the backfield, you're protecting the quarterback, you're a chess piece. And while Estime may develop into that kind of player one day, he's not there yet. The NFL is a right-now league. There's no time to wait for potential to bloom when there are others already thriving. So, it's a goodbye for now, not necessarily forever. But the writing was clear, and the Broncos brass did what they had to do. Now switching gears to Courtney Jackson, because this one still stings. Jackson represented a really smart piece for depth and special teams. I had him pegged as the 6th wide receiver. Why? Because he offered something the others didn't. The ability to take pressure off Marvin Mims in the return game. That's huge. You want Mims focused on stretching defenses, torching corners, and becoming a breakout offensive weapon? You don't want him getting smashed on every punt return. Jackson could have filled that role. But again, the Broncos opted for a different route. Maybe they feel Mims can handle that dual responsibility. Maybe they're expecting another player already on the roster to step up in the return game. Either way, cutting Jackson says a lot about where this coaching staff's head is at. They're prioritizing explosive offensive potential and may be willing to risk a little wear and tear on key guys like Mims in the process. That's a gamble, but it's one they're clearly comfortable with. Meanwhile, let's not overlook the broader implications of these cuts. The defense is looking like a true problem for opposing teams. This unit is deep. I'm talking no-fly zone 2.0 levels of swagger and skill. Patrick Surtain, too, is already a top-tier corner in the league. Add in Jaquan McMillian, Levi Wallace, Damari Mathis, and Riley Moss, and you've got a secondary that can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Which brings us back to Deary Mathis. There just wasn't a place for someone who couldn't keep pace with that level of talent. You've got to remember, this cornerback group isn't just fast. They're smart. They're physical. They can tackle. They don't just play coverage. They finish plays. And unfortunately, Mathis got caught looking more like a liability than an asset. You can't give up touchdowns to tight ends because you bid on play action. Not in this defense. That's not going to fly with Vance Joseph calling the shots. Now zooming out to look at the big picture, there's one underlying